and welcome to today's video. Now I'm now filming from my new home, which you guys will recognise from my recent video tours. So I'm going to go back to doing obviously normal videos from now on, but I hope you guys really enjoyed my flat tours. Today's video is actually going to be all about greasy hair hacks. So I haven't done a hacks video in quite some time, so I just wanted to do a little one to kind of give you a bit of a hand if you're struggling with your hair at the moment to keep it looking like nice and fresh. So hack number one is using translucent powder to soak up any grease. Now what this actually does, likewise in the same way that it would do for your face, exactly in the same way to absorb any excess oil or grease, then it does that for your hair. So all you have to do is just pop a little bit of translucent powder onto a brush, and then you basically just dust it over your hair. Now obviously use a clean brush to be able to do this, because you don't want to transfer any kind of bacteria that have been on your skin onto your hair. So obviously use a brand new brush, and then you just dust it over and then basically just brush it through. You can brush it through afterwards just to make sure you don't get left with that white kind of residue, so you look like you've got dandruff. But basically it just works in exactly the same way, so it absorbs any excess oil from the scalp, and it just makes your hair look really nice and revived. So it's kind of like a DIY dry shampoo, just in case you don't have any dry shampoo at home and your hair's looking a little bit greasy. So obviously this would just be used in between washes as a bit of a refresh. Hack number two is keep your hands off your hair. I know it is so easy to just run your hands through your hair all the time. We all do it just in our day-to-day lives, don't even think about it. You put your hands through your hair, you're moving it off your face, and actually the fact is we have so much kind of grease and we have so many bacteria and everything on our hands. If you think what your hands go through in a day, obviously that's kind of then going to be transferred straight onto your scalp, so that is not good for your hair. So my tip is just don't touch your hair, or try not to touch it as much as possible, because obviously all of that stuff from your hands is then going to transfer onto your hair and just make it look a lot more greasy. So if you can, just try and keep those mitts off that barnet. Hack number three is an apple cider vinegar wash. Now this might sound really random, but you can either use apple cider vinegar or you can use lemon juice. Now what you're going to do is take 250 ml of water, and then you're going to add 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, or just squeeze half a lemon juice into the water and obviously mix that around. Now what's that going to create is basically like a rinse, so you're going to create a really lovely pre-wash treatment. So you're going to concentrate on the roots and then obviously go into the ends as well, but basically you're concentrating on the roots. Now what you're going to do is basically put this into your hair, leave it in for 5 minutes, and then you're going to shampoo and condition as normal. Now what the acid does in both of those, so whether you choose the apple cider or you choose the lemon, is basically helps to combat any dirt, any kind of product buildup, excess oil in the scalp, and it just kind of helps to neutralize that. Now what it also does is helps with things like dandruff, and also neutralizes the pH balance in your scalp. So essentially then your scalp's not producing that much grease and your hair is going to feel much less greasy. So they have an instant kind of hit effect where they actually make your hair look really nice and refreshed and clean, but also over time they do make your scalp kind of produce less kind of grease over time. It kind of like teaches your scalp to do that, and so actually it has like a long-lasting effect. Now the only thing to note with this one is obviously if you are going to use lemon, just be aware that that obviously does have some lightening effect, so obviously you don't want to be using that too much unless you want to go a little bit lighter with your hair colour. But obviously if you do want to do that, then that's another great hack to how to lighten your hair. Hack number 4 is just ways to apply your shampoo and conditioner maybe differently. Now I've always kind of thought shampoo and conditioner, you apply at the roots and then you go all the way down to your mid to ends as well. Now obviously that's kind of not right. So basically what you need to be doing is your shampoo, you need to be concentrating more at the roots, and your conditioner needs to be mid-lengths to ends. Now that's because conditioner is quite heavy and it's full of a lot more that's going to kind of create a lot of grease. So you don't want to be putting too much on the scalp there, because the shampoo aims to kind of clean that. So it aims to get rid of any dirt, any build-up of the product products again, all of that sort of thing, and get away that grease. Now then, if you're then putting the heavy conditioner or like a mask over the top, that's just going to be too heavy for your scalp, and it's basically just going to produce loads and loads and loads of grease, and obviously you don't want to be doing that. So you just want to make sure you concentrate that heavier conditioner from here sort of down, and then that will really condition the ends, because the ends is where that really needs some conditioning, but actually the shampoo just concentrate at the top. Hack number 5, this is kind of like another DIY at home get rid of your grease if you don't have any dry shampoo in between washes. So this is just basically using something that most people have at home, and that's kitchen roll. This might sound really random, but it works in exactly the same way. So all you're going to do is just take off a sheet of kitchen roll, and then you're just going to basically dab it wherever you see any grease. And because obviously this is so absorbent, you will absorb the grease on your hair. So obviously on your scalp, sorry. So obviously just section off bits and then just kind of dab it along, and you will honestly notice a difference. Now obviously don't keep using the same bit over and over and over, just kind of like fold it over again, so you're using a fresh sheet, a fresh bit of your kitchen roll, and then you're just dabbing along there. And honestly, that will help to get rid of the grease just as the translucent powder and just as dry shampoo does. Hack number 6 is called the beer rinse. So have you guys heard of this before? Because it's a little bit mental, but it works in exactly the same way as the apple cider vinegar rinse and the lemon rinse. Now it works to just basically get rid of that any excess oil that's on your scalp, equally any dirt, any product buildup. What you're going to do is just go out and buy yourself, it can be quite a cheap beer, but I actually use Guinness on mine because that contains a lot of iron, so I was kind of like, this is going to work wonders for my scalp and for my hair. And all you're going to do is basically just douse your hair in it. Now I would say do this in the bath or the shower because it does get really messy, and just be careful of your eyes as well, obviously in exactly the same way with your apple cider vinegar one. I kind of leant over, but obviously I just really shut my eyes really tight, and I actually didn't get anything in my eyes. But just be really careful. It might be helpful to tilt your hair back and just literally just get like a measuring jug or something and just go all over. Now with obviously the beer can or the beer bottle, you're just basically going to let that beer go flat first of all, so open it the night before maybe, and then you're going to douse your hair in it, and then you're just going to rinse it through, and then give yourself a good shampoo and conditioner, because otherwise some people may look at you on the streets like you get a little bit of a problem if it's about like 9 o'clock in the morning and you smell like beer. For the beer wash, just be mindful not to use it kind of more than once a week or kind of once every couple of weeks, because otherwise it does have quite a drying effect on your hair. So obviously that's just going to be not great in the long term. So you want to make sure you're keeping that nutrients and you're keeping the moisture into your hair, so just don't use it too often. Hack number 7 is a little bit of a trick to the eye. So it's kind of like if you don't have time to refresh your hair and you don't have anything in the house that you think you can cover up that hot mess with, then this is basically like a little bit of a, oh, I'm just going to get away with this for another day look. My sister actually taught me how to do this, and it's better if you can get somebody else to do it, but you essentially are just doing a massive braid in your hair. So you take your hair from one side and you start plaiting upwards, and then you're kind of going to then you're going to go into the next side of your hair and kind of integrate that into the plait itself, so it's like a massive braid at the end. Now then what you're going to do is tie it with a little tie at the end, and then just kind of loosen off the actual braid itself, just so that it looks really nice and thick and chunky, and the chunky braid at the top will just totally deflect from the fact that you have a really greasy scalp, so people will just see this really beautiful braid, and it's all about tricking the eye. Hack number 8 is something that people probably wouldn't think to do, but actually it's so important. Just as we wash our makeup brushes, they get built up with so much bacteria and things like that. We're putting that on our face every day. You need to be washing your hairbrushes as well. Now I just use something like baby shampoo because it's really inexpensive and it's just super easy to use, but I'm just doing this on like a tangle teaser just to show you guys. Basically you just want to get really into the bristles there and then rinse it off with some lukewarm water or some warm water. That's just going to make sure that you're just getting rid of any buildup of bacteria, dirt, any kind of product buildup, because you've got to think exactly in the same way that you're putting your brushes on your face, you're going to be then putting that brush back through your hair again. So if you've just had your hair really greasy for the last couple of days, then you've just washed it again, you're then just brushing that grease back in again. So essentially you're kind of then basically doing yourself a disservice because you've literally just washed your hair and then you're making it greasy again. So it's really frustrating, but it's just going to cause your hair to get more greasy quicker. Hack number 9, obviously I've talked about DIY options of this, but this is just a really easy one, just that you guys will probably know about anyway. It's just dry shampoo. So it's just the easiest way to refresh your hair in between washes without actually having to wash your hair. Now, you can buy these from anywhere. They can be super cheap, and actually now you can get some that have got like colours in them. So especially if you've got dyed hair, then it just looks a bit more natural, because if you're using normal shampoo, normal dry shampoo on especially like dark hair like mine, it can look a little bit grey at times, so people know you've got dry shampoo in. But basically you're just going to section off your hair, you're going to spray it to the actual roots, and then just give it a good massage in, and then you're going to brush it all through just to make that hair look really natural. And honestly, it does revive your hair. This isn't obviously a cure to never wash your hair again. This is just to use in between washes. And finally, hack number 10 is a really simple one, but it's actually something that people don't really think about. As much as it's horrible to have a cold shower, when you're actually in the shower, it's better to use either cold or lukewarm water to actually rinse your hair through after you've shampooed and conditioned, because actually hot water stimulates those glands in our scalps that actually produce grease. So the best thing is to use lukewarm water if you don't want to have a really cold shower, and that will help to just combat that and make sure that your scalp isn't producing too much grease. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Please give it a massive thumbs up if you have, and if you have any more hacks videos that you want to see me do, if you've enjoyed it, then please write a comment below. I love to hear from you guys, and be sure to check out my last video, which was obviously my house tour. If you've missed it, then you can catch up on that below, and I will see you guys in a few days time in my next video. Bye guys!